So here we have applique, which has been stitched in place just with a straight stitch. We have my Japanese clover applique 115 scissors, so you can see they have a fat edge and a very sharp edge, so it helps to avoid piercing through the fabric when you make cuts. So I've stitched this and you can see it's got a complicated shape. So the most important bit now is to trim around it before we do the zigzag. So these scissors are designed to get in there lovely and close. As you can see, this works quite well in getting under there. Get really close to the stitch. I mean, that's wonderfully precise. And then you just keep changing angles. Of course, when you're first starting out on uncertain angles, it's a little more complex than from other directions. I'll set this for 2.5 width out of 4, I guess. That seems sensible. You can see the bottom here, it's all set up. I could remove that off, but it doesn't really matter, it doesn't get in the way. So it's relatively easy to remove, just I think I'll be able to do this without my arm in the way. Sorry, folks. Okay, that seems to be reasonable. So let's just run a quick test on the fabric. I've got the thread here. I think we'll reduce that to stitch length of 1 and see how we get on with that one. I think we'll increase the this is white on white, so you're probably not going to be able to see this very well. Oh, actually, that's not bad at all. Nice narrow zigzag right there. So, yeah, that looks pretty good for applique, actually. So what I need to do now is change the thread to green to go with my project, and then we'll be off. Okay, so I've done almost all the threading except for threading the needle, which I shall do now. So on this machine, because it's a clone, it's from left to right, and I cannot see in the dark, although I might, no, I've got to turn on the light here, folks, so I can't actually see the hole without a light on. Perfect. So what we'll do is we will put the pull the thread down. Try again. Yeah, I should have done it this time. Perfect. So the thread is now underneath. I've got bobbin thread in the bottom. Let's see. So now comes the exciting part. Where do I start? Well, I'm going to start, I think, on the easy, which is, rather than dealing with a complicated curve to start. Okay. So I need to make sure that one part is on the fabric and the other part is just off the fabric, not too far so it's not ugly. So let's kick off and go. Bring this up here onto the table so it makes it a bit easier to manage the fabric. Let's see. Okay. With hindsight, I probably should have taken that off. It's a bit difficult to see for me. It's sort of in the way of where the fabric is traveling, although I can see the front of the foot there. Okay. You'll notice what I'm doing is holding the fabric so that I can steer it, but with space on in front. It's like sort of like this. Oops, sorry. So it's like this. So I'm holding it from the side to puff it up so it can swing side to side, but it doesn't need to be much. It's barely moving, but also in front as well. And the reason for that is to make sure I can steer it, and as well as keep it, allow it enough room to do its job feeding and moving the fabric side to side at the same time. Okay, so we're on to the next one, so reposition. Okay, so I thought you might be interested in actually seeing, because I've come far enough along now that they're, let's see if we can actually show you this. So you can hardly see them, they're that good. Let me zoom in a bit more and see if you can change the angle of the lighting and maybe try another light and see if that enables you to see the zigzag a bit more. So the zigzag's right there anyway. Zoom in. I'll bring this light around and maybe that'll help. And zoom in. Oop, wrong way. Do tend to get that wrong. So you can see there's a zigzag. So that's entirely up to you what you would want to for the width, but I'm pretty content with that width. It's on the fabric. It's you know, matching color, and it'll sew well. So I'll move this out of the way again, and we'll continue on with the zigzag. So spin around. So let's see if we can just angle this camera a bit. Perfect, and I'll pause here so that, okay, and off we go again. Okay. I think we'll move that just a tidgy bit over so it's closer to the edge. Perfect. And off we go again. What I might do is raise this camera up so you can see from the top. I think it'll be better. Okay, so I've raised the camera up a bit, so hopefully it's more clear what's going on here. Okay. You can see you can go at a very perfect clip, really. Oops, clutch was a bit loose. And then we'll get to the change direction. Just like you'd have to do on a zigzag capable machine, you've got to make sure that you're again placed right at the edge and in the correct direction of the curve. Okay. Spin, and off we go again. That time I lined it up perfectly. Okay, on the inside curve, so time to spin it around again. See if that lines up at the edge. Yeah. Try it without lights and see if that makes it worse or better. Oop! Drop my thread. I think that's about the best we're able to get this lighting. Okay. Okay. Best if I don't go off the fabric. So there we are. Left. Spin. And off we go. This is surprisingly pleasant to do. It's fun, and it's actually no more difficult than on a standard zigzag machine. I'm quite pleased with this. It's fun. Okay, so I'm about to begin the loop. So this will be a little fun because, of course, we're doing it on a circular, semicircle shape. Last two edges. Okay. And last edge. And I can even reverse to tie up the edges. So, we have done the first one. A few sort of shreds that I need to trim off there, just to tidy up the edges, but an excellent result, I think. Just, as you can see, I need to trim these. But that won't affect the result. It's down, it's going to be good.